Alright, before I start this video, I just want to say that if you like this video or you like this type of content, please give me a like, subscribe if you want more information, and leave a comment on what I could do better.
ItzBeanz, ho. Got me?
Alright, so we're back at it again with some NBA 2K23 information from Mike Wang. Now, looking at this first post right here, I'm going to show you a video from another developer that almost goes against what was said here as far as defense goes, as well as I want you to hear more of the information that he has about the body up system, and I'll explain my reasoning for listening to that, because I kind of watched most of the stream as it was being done, but I wanted to catch it before he puts it on private, because he tends to make a stream then put it on private because people heckle him about the information that he gave before the game was released and after all the patches, and people be like, well, you said this, da da da. So I wanted to do this as quickly as possible. All right, we're starting with this first post right here. It says adrenaline boosts are restored on shot clock resets, also toying with the idea of slowly replenishing 1 or 2 if you slow down and wait long enough. From next maker feedback, we're also going to support boost on defense. Steal and block attempts will cost a boost. When you use up your defensive boost, you'll get a drop in your steal and block rating. Hopefully this gets rid of some of the spamming. They use up boost, but what if you still have a stamina bar? Do you still get like 4 more reaches after that? So somebody right here posted, can you use a boost at full speed even if your main stamina bar is drained? For instance, Lonzo clip y'all shared. So the clip that I shared on my last video with him just dribbling. He dribbled out all his stamina, but he still had boost. So he goes on to say yes and no. An empty stamina bar will smack down your rating. If you still have an adrenaline boost available, you'll get a normal explosive launch, but they'll be slower than if your stamina bar was full. Empty adrenaline boosts feel way slower than empty stamina though. So your adrenaline boosts are gonna play a big factor, even though they reset after each shot clock. We don't know that could be like, because sometimes you get a block and somebody grabs it and going out of bounds with 2 seconds, and that resets your shot clock, or if it has to be a change of possession, so maybe a steal to a steal right back, that will reset it, or like something like that. So that's all the information that I wanted from Mike Wang's page. I'm gonna go on over here to Dazar's page, or however you say. This is the first piece right here that I want to talk about.
The last time I was on, I talked about the adrenaline, and I think I mentioned talking about it on the defensive side. For right now, let me clean that up. Right now, adrenaline is only on offense, but we are considering some different options, and so that may change by the time you guys actually get your hands on the game. But as of right now, today, adrenaline is just for offense. Defense, you do have the stamina bar, and you can see right now the adrenaline buttons on defense, but they don't drain. But again, that could change. Guys are still tuning in and talking and receiving feedback and making decisions.
All right, so he said that you can see the adrenaline boost bars on defense, but right now they have no functionality as compared to what Mike Wang just said on the post. So that goes on to further explain that these things can change from within hours, because he made this a couple hours ago, then 2 hours ago Mike Wang came out with that information. So these things can change within hours. One quick patch, one quick recoding, and boom. That was valuable information, because I wonder, are they going to revert back to this where defense, or are they going to go with Mike Wang's terminology or Mike Wang's idea of having it to where your steals and your block attempts use up one of your adrenaline boosts. Now, I do also have another question. If you use up an adrenaline boost, and so I believe somebody also commented this, but you use up an adrenaline boost, you get the block, they get the ball back. You use up another one, they get the block, they get the ball back. You get the block, they get the ball back. Now you're just stuck on probably no stamina and no adrenaline boost. How would you be able to play defense? I mean, I guess it would just be a slower reaction, but I wonder if they're gonna come out with some sort of defensive badge like tireless defender or something like that to help replenish your adrenaline boost, or just give you back stamina quicker, or you lose less stamina even though you used up all your adrenaline boost. I would like to see one that you reduce the amount of stamina you use on defense as compared to regaining an adrenaline boost back. Basically, if I use up all three of my adrenaline boosts, I still got a little bit of stamina left to play some defense. Even though my ratings will be lower, my blocking ratings will be lower, and my animation will be slower, I still got a little bit left in the tank to play defense. And so I'm gonna go on to the next topic that I found interesting. And I'm gonna say this one is kind of scary to me. This one goes back to 2K18 for me, and this is gonna be scary, but we'll see.
All right, so one of the changes that we want to make with the body ups is looking at today's NBA game. There's not the 90s, there's not the 80s, 90s where you could really hand check and box somebody up more so in a one-on-one defensive situation, right? And so what we wanted to do was look at how the body ups function. And what we found is that a lot of our users use the body ups as a crutch, right? The badge their players up or whatever, or if you're playing 5-on-5 with the NBA players, find somebody who's got good badges. And then you'll just constantly run into the offensive player and wait for the body up to happen, right? And today's NBA game is not about aggressive defenders, right? Because you don't have that hand check as a weapon. Really, it's about playing position. And today's game has more of a flow to it in terms of players driving to the basket. You really can't keep anybody out the paint because you can't lay a hand on them, right? And so we wanted to create more of a flow with our body up system. So in the past, as you can see, number 5 here, Paxson, right? In the past, we had a very wide window to be considered driving right at the defense. So it really rewarded everybody on defense to just stay as close to the dribbler as you possibly could, right? Because you're going to get a body up, and it's going to save you in most instances. And a lot of people think, well, hey man, that's great defense. I'm locking you up. Really, the body up is doing most of the work. And what we found is that the angle that we had here was super wide for the offensive player to be considered driving directly into the defense. And so what we did this year, if you can imagine 45 degrees on this side and 45 degrees on that side, right? Maybe even out to 50 degrees. If you pointed your stick in any of those directions, you were considered running into the defense, which means that the body ups were overpowered, right? So what we did was we narrowed that window, all right? And the size of the window can change, so I'm not going to give you an exact number, but it's much smaller than what it used to be. And so what that means is as an offensive player, if I give you a little move left, right, a left, correct, and then I shoot off right over here, that's no longer considered pointing my stick directly at you. Whereas in the past, it was. So you were guaranteed to get a body up there if you were just in decent position and you have decent ratings and you got decent reaction skills. Well, this year, that's not going to be the case. All right. And then when you add on top of that, the defensive shading, yes, you get a bonus if I ran directly into your chest, right? But that window area is smaller now. So as a defender, if you want to block that front lane and get the bonus that comes with being in the shaded position, in the position where the offensive player is moving or trying to drive, right? your ability to use the left stick and to use your defensive skills to stay in that spot, it's really going to be tested. Because if I, as number 5, now point my stick right over here, right, and I use one of my adrenaline bars, you're going to get beat. So that's the thing. You have hopefully how this works. You know, as a dev, you put things in and you have certain intentions, but the implementation or how people use that may turn.
Okay, I'm gonna cut that off right there because he said the main part. Now, I asked a question on Twitter to, I believe, Dazar and Mike Wang. I'm a person that uses who to guard off, so I take mine's off, just like my shot meter. I take it off. So if you turn my who to guard off, will that also turn off my defensive shadings as well? But I believe with this new body up system that they're trying to implement, it will further increase the blow by rate. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because like I said, they said they reduced chase down for smaller guards. So I don't know if that's for when I'm going up against a bigger defender, or I mean a bigger offender, or somebody my size. So if you reduce chase down but you increase the blow by rate, essentially you're just creating rim runners. I mean, yeah, your team might close, the defensive team might have to help, but essentially these computers are in the zone. Everybody else is gonna be in the zone. And if I beat my defender most of the time, I'm gonna have to pass it out, which is fine. But what does that do for one-on-one defense if the offender can just blow right by me like 2K18? 2K18 was the king of just blow bys, and I feel like that's gonna be tough, but that's just my idea.
40 feet, right? As a defender, this is dangerous area for you. In our game, it wasn't dangerous at all, because the closer you got, the more body ups you got, right? And as an offensive player, in order to beat that, you had to like damn near point your stick to the baseline. I mean, to the sidelines to get out of that. But now that's much tighter. And so I wanted to do this video to talk about it, because I think when the game first comes out, people who are used to just running into the ball and getting body ups are going to start sliding off. And I don't want you guys to think, oh, you know, the game's broken, or, you know, I'm not playing great defense. If you're bodying up, right? Let's say we get into this situation, right? Your strength is that I can't go straight, right? But you don't have no strength over here unless you stick match me. And you don't have any strength over here unless you stick match me. Sorry, I'm trying to put it between them, right? So body ups are not the all-encompassing strength that they used to be. Your best defensive position is going to be to stay in front, right? And to try to anticipate where he wants to go and get your chest in that position and not just smash body up all the way down the floor.
Okay, so I think they put this in to stop people from full court pressing, because I feel like the further you body up, not only is the offender going to be losing adrenaline boost, but I feel like eventually the defender, if defenders end up having adrenaline boost or not, they'll be losing at least stamina, which, I mean, by right, if you bumping into two people bumping into each other, you're gonna lose stamina from constantly bumping. So I feel like they reduce people trying to press the ball on every play. I run guard, I run center, I run wing, I run spot up, and anytime I run guard, there's always somebody that is in a zone, but they have 2 or 1 people just pressing the ball nonstop to cause a turnover, essentially an interception. So I feel like that is what they're trying to reduce with this non-body up system, or however you use it. So if I got a little defender on me, if he doesn't play the lane correctly, I'm going by him. I have a bigger defender on me, he doesn't play the lane correctly, I'm going by him. So they're trying to get people who have some stick skills, for lack of a better word. And that's fine with me. I usually don't reach too much, and I try not to jump too much when playing defense, so that's good. I think there's one more point that I wanted to get to, so I'm gonna get to that point, and then that'll be the end of the video.
In 2K23, when you're in these type of body ups as the defender, right, you want to be thinking about, when do I stop pushing my stick into him, and when do I push my stick over here? Because as an offensive player, if he decides to make an adjustment from here and kind of angle his stick out this way first and then try to beat you on the corner, you're probably going to slide off. So the body ups are not the catch-all that they used to be, and you want to be aware of that and try to play more position. If you find yourself getting your doors blown off really consistently, that's something that you want to watch. Are you playing the angles correctly? Are you gapping guys who can't shoot enough? And are you beating them to the spot, right? So in the old 2K right here, you just run up on him, get the body up till he picks up the ball, right? But if you try that in 23, as it's currently tuned, what will end up happening is a smart offensive player will change the direction he's using his left stick, and you will get blown past, like you'll just slide back off of him here. All right.
So, like I said, I like the idea, and if it's implemented correctly, I feel like it would be a great idea. I just hope they do a good job on it, because if they don't, it's just gonna be a lot of Blow Bys this year, and that's gonna be very bad for defense. Very bad, because not only will you have these adrenaline boosts and stamina slowing you down, but now you're getting blown by every play. Yikes.
Sharper angles going to the basket, because it's going to factor in your strength. And a lot of times you probably just, muscle them right out the way, especially if people like to cheese and not give their builds no strength. So.
All right, that was a good point. I always recommend put 30 to 40 strength for all my builds. If they're guards, if they're big men, I put even more strength, for anywhere from 70 to 80. So I have enough strength to contend with the bigger guards, because bigger centers, because I usually make an undersized center. My centers usually are anywhere from 6'9" to 6'10" centers. And I mean, we have them in the game, but not every 6'9" or 6'10" is gonna be able to deal with a 7'2", 7'1", 7 foot post scorer. So strength, I'm gonna keep saying it. Strength is a must-have this year. Strength was a must-have last year, but it's even more relevant in 2K23. So keep that in mind. Okay, I didn't find any more relevant information. I went through all of this and I listened, but I didn't really find anything else that I deemed useful other than that tidbit of information that I found while watching it. So with that being said, like, share, and subscribe for more. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And make sure you leave a comment. Deuces. I'm out.